They say rivers do not cry. But on that morning, the river did. No one knows why the water suddenly turned warm that day. When the air was cool and the village shivered as the cold wind blew on the land. No one remembers what the fisherman saw first, the silver scales or the tiny human hand. If you caught a creature that could make you rich beyond measure, and it pleads for mercy, would you sell it or set it free? In a quiet Nigerian village, by the Mabinu River, a poor fisherman faced that very choice. They say kindness feeds the soul, but greed feeds the pocket. Which one would you choose if the river itself was watching? Ikija, a quiet village near Mabinu River, was alive with chatter and music. Children chased goats across sandy paths. Women carried baskets of smoked fish. Elders gathered beneath the iroko tree, telling old stories. Here lived Ajayi, a fisherman. His hut was small, his clothes patched, yet his heart was known to be gentle. His son, Bolu, was strong and restless. He dreamed of wealth and envied boys who wore fine clothes and sandals. Among the fishermen were Okoro, boastful and greedy, and Billy, timid and easily swayed. And the villagers said, Ajayi was too soft-hearted for this world. When Ajayi passed by the market, people whispered, "There goes Ajayi, still poor, still struggling. His kindness cannot buy him Gary." Okoro is clever, Billy is cautious, but Ajayi is a fool. Yet the oldest woman in the market, Mama Bola, shook her head and muttered, "The day we do not know is greater than the day we know." One misty morning, Ajayi paddled out, humming the old fishing chant, trying to pull his net out of the river. The net grew heavy. Ajayi strained, sweat dripping. He pulled and gasped. Then, he saw something unusual and frightening caught up in the net. A baby mermaid. Her silver scales glistened. Her tail was torn. She gasped weakly, her eyes full of fear. Okoro and Billy paddled closer. Okoro shouted, "Ajayi, do you know what fortune you hold? That creature will fetch millions. Think of the wealth." Billy urged, "Yes, Ajayi. Think of your son and your wife. Think of your heart. Release her, and you remain a poor man forever." Bolu's voice trembled with longing, "Baba, please. This is our chance. Don't throw it away." The boat rocked with voices of greed. But the fisherman's heart had something else. Ajayi heard the faint, desperate cry of the river's child. Ajayi whispered, "Go home, little one. The river is your mother." And he released her. Okoro cursed. Billy shook his head. Even Bolu muttered bitterly. But Ajayi's spirit felt light. When the village heard, they mocked him. Ajayi has thrown away riches. His son will hate him. Even poverty is better than such foolishness. Okoro laughed loudly in the market, buying palm wine with money from his latest catch. He sneered, "If I was the one that caught that creature, I would be rich now." Ajayi is a weak man. But the old drummer at the market square beat his drum and said, "A kindness buried in the sand grows roots that break the rock." Time passed. Ajayi's hut leaked when it rained. His net tore often. He grew thinner, but his heart stayed gentle. Bolu grew more angry, often fighting with his father. "Baba, others build new houses. Others buy cows. Yet you gave away our only chance. What has kindness brought us?" Ajayi answered softly, "My son, kindness may sleep, but it never dies." And the villagers said, Ajayi was the poorest fisherman in the richest river. Every last month of the year, fishermen across Ikija village hold a fishing contest season. They hold a contest to see who could catch the largest fish. And whoever catches the largest fish goes home with fantastic prizes. Either a single big catch or numerous medium sizes. Okoro brought a big, heavy catfish and boasted, "This river belongs to me." Bill brought a basket of tilapia and said, "At least I am safe." Ajayi caught only a few small fish. The crowd mocked him. But Mama Bola whispered, "He who has patience will see what is good." One night, after another day of hunger and scorn, Ajayi fell into a strange sleep. He dreamed he was standing at the riverbank under a full moon. The water shone like glass, and from its depth, a soft voice whispered, "The river sees. The river waits. Do not let bitterness drown your kindness." Ajayi tried to answer, but his tongue felt heavy. Then, he saw the faint outline of the mermaid child he once saved, now grown, glowing, smiling. She said softly, "When the storm comes, do not be afraid. The storm will open the door." He woke up startled, sweating. Bolu was still asleep beside him. The river outside glimmered faintly, as if listening. And the villagers said, "The poor man's dreams are full of mysteries." The following day, late in the afternoon, Ajayi sat alone by the river. The moon hid behind thick clouds. The water was restless, whispering against the rocks. He thought of his son's anger, the mockery of the villagers, the pain of his poverty. Then, the wind shifted. The river's surface began to swirl, forming the face of a woman, half human, half water. Her eyes were deep as eternity. "Fisherman," she said, "your test is near. Will you still choose mercy when death stares at you?" Ajayi's heart pounded. He wanted to speak, but the vision vanished as thunder roared in the distance. He whispered, "Whatever comes, may the river judge me fair." And the villagers said, "Only fools talk to water. But wise men know, the river sometimes answers." That evening, when the moon was thin and pale, Amina knelt by the riverbank. Her wrapper was faded, her eyes weary from years of hunger and tears. She looked at the restless water and whispered, "River mother, why do you test my husband so much? He gives even when we have nothing left. He spares even those who would not spare him. My heart is tired, but my faith still stands." The wind rose gently, carrying the scent of wet earth and fish. A single ripple formed on the water's surface, glowing faintly like silver light. From that shimmer came a soft voice, "Woman of faith, your husband's heart is seen. The river watches, even when men mock. When the storm rises, your love will be his anchor." Amina gasped and clutched her chest. She turned, but there was no one. Only the faint laughter of the water fading into the night. And from that night, Amina's prayers changed. She no longer asked for riches, only that mercy would remember her family. And the wise one said, "A woman's tears can move even the river spirits." The night before the great storm, Ajayi sat outside their hut, mending his torn net. Amina sat beside him, her hands still, her eyes clouded with worry. "Ajayi," she said quietly, "you've carried this kindness too far. The world may bless gentlemen in stories, but in real life, gentlemen die hungry." Ajayi smiled faintly. "Then let me die gentle, my love. For greed feeds the body, but mercy feeds the soul." Tears welled in Amina's eyes. "Then promise me one thing, if the river calls again, remember my face. Remember home." Ajayi took her hand, rough and scarred from years of struggle. "I will remember," he said softly. "Even if the water takes me, I will return." That night, Amina dreamt of thunder, waves, and a shining crown sinking into darkness. When she woke, the storm had begun. As Ajayi and Bolu pushed their boat into the river that morning, Amina stood at the shore, her wrapper flapping in the wind. She called out, "May the water remember your kindness." The clouds above groaned, and a single drop of rain fell into the river, as if the heavens had heard her prayer. The river rippled once, then fell silent. And the wise one said, "Sometimes a prayer spoken in fear becomes a promise kept by the gods." In the evening of that day, Ajayi and Bolu were far out on the river. The sky dark, thunder roared. Lightning flashed. The river swelled like a living beast. Ajayi struggled with the boat. Then, crash! A giant wave struck. Bolu was thrown into the water. "Baba! Save me!" he screamed. Without thought, Ajayi leapt in. Father and son clung to each other, but the river dragged them down, down, down. Silence. Darkness. They had drowned, or so it seemed. They opened their eyes in a glowing world beneath the water. Strange fishes swam past, corals glowed, and spirits wept in the distance. A golden serpent hissed, "You cannot leave until you face the gates of the lagoon." They passed a cave where shadows wailed. Spirits of drowned fishermen cried, "We chased gold, we sold kindness, and now we are chained forever." Bolu trembled. Ajayi held his hand. They entered a forest of giant shells. Each shell whispered their fears. "Ajayi, you are a fool. Your son despises you. Bolu, your father ruined your future." Bolu wept. Ajayi only said, "The river is testing us, my son." As Ajayi and Bolu moved past the forest of shells, they entered a vast hall made entirely of glowing stones. Voices echoed from the walls, familiar, cruel voices. "Ajayi, you are a fool. You chose kindness and lost everything. Your son is cursing your name." Each word grew louder until Bolu fell to his knees, covering his ears. But Ajayi lifted his hands and sang the old fisherman's chant, a song of courage and forgiveness. Slowly, the angry voices faded, replaced by calm ripples of light. A gentle voice whispered, "The heart that forgives is stronger than the hand that strikes." Bolu looked at his father with tears in his eyes. At a gate guarded by crabs, Bolu was forced to speak the truth. He cried, "Father, I hated you for your choice. I called you a fool. But now I see, it was your mercy that gives us hope." The gate opened. They entered a shimmering palace, guarded by dolphins and turtles. Drums echoed like thunder. On the throne sat the Mermaid Queen, a radiant spirit with hair like seaweed and eyes like deep waters, brilliant, majestic. Guards cried, "These are trespassers. Bind them forever." But the queen raised her hand. "You," she said softly. "You are the fisherman who spared my life. Years ago, when greed encircled you and asked you to give me away for riches, you chose mercy, you spared my life. The river never forgets. You showed mercy when others shouted greed." Bolu fell to his knees. "Baba, forgive me. I mocked you. But it is your kindness that saves us." The queen smiled. "Go home, fisherman. Go home, son. Teach the world that mercy is greater than gold." Before releasing them, the Mermaid Queen raised her hand. "Before you leave, the river must weigh your hearts." A glowing scale appeared. On one side lay Ajayi's heart, pure and steady. On the other, Bolu's heart, heavy with guilt and greed. The scale trembled. Then a tear from Bolu's eye dropped onto it, shining like a pearl. Then, the scale balanced. The queen smiled softly. "Now your hearts are one. The river forgives when men learn." The palace drums thundered once, then silence, the kind that feels holy. With a wave of her hand, they were back in their boat, safe. When Ajayi and Bolu awoke in their boat, the storm was gone. The river lay calm, glittering under the moonlight. They paddled home, their hearts full of wonder. The villagers ran to meet them, astonished. Okoro scoffed loudly, "Lies. Mere stories of weak men who dream in the water." Billy shook his head, whispering, "Perhaps the spirits have spoken, perhaps the river has chosen Ajayi." Mama Bola, the wise old woman, beat her staff on the ground. "He who sends kindness into the water will send kindness back to him." That same night, Okoro went fishing alone. He laughed into the dark, mocking Ajayi's story. Mermaids. Lies for fools. But the river grew cold and still. His net grew heavy, too heavy. When he pulled it up, a pale hand gripped the edge of his canoe. He screamed as a shadowy mermaid rose, not the queen, but a spirit of vengeance. "You mocked mercy. Now you will pay for it. No matter how you struggle in life, you will amount to nothing. You will end up wretched." The river swallowed Okoro's boat, but his life was spared. That night, as Ajayi slept in his small hut, he dreamed. The Mermaid Queen appeared, her crown shimmering like sunlight on water. She spoke, "Fisherman, you showed mercy when the world urged greed. You gave without expecting, and the river has not forgotten. Return to the river at dawn." At dawn, Ajayi went to the riverbank with Bolu. The water bubbled, and suddenly baskets of shining fishes, rare shells, and gold coins floated to the surface. The villagers gasped. Day after day, the river poured riches into Ajayi's nets, larger fishes than anyone had ever seen, treasures hidden deep for generations. Soon, Ajayi built a new house. He clothed his son and wife in fine garments. But unlike Okoro, who boasted of small wealth, Ajayi shared freely with widows, orphans, and neighbors. And so Ajayi became a wealthy man in his village. Those who mocked him fell silent. For the river had rewarded his kindness. And the villagers said, "The water gives wealth, the water gives death. But more than that, they learned, mercy is a treasure no storm can wash away." In honor of Ajayi's miracle, the village held a great feast, the Festival of Waters. Men danced with nets on their shoulders. Women sang songs of mercy. Children painted the image of a mermaid on the market wall, calling it Mother of Blessings. Bolu stood proudly beside his father, smiling, feeling proud of his father. Mama Bola poured libation by the riverside and proclaimed, "From today, let every fisherman remember Ajayi, the man who proved that mercy can feed 1,000 mouths." And every year after, the village celebrated the festival, not for gold or fish, but to honor kindness that once swam away and returned with blessings. And so the man who was mocked became the man everyone honored. The river blessed him, not because he chased riches, but because he valued mercy above gold. Okoro, consumed by envy, grew poorer with each season. Billy remained timid, never learning to choose between right and wrong. But Ajayi's name became a proverb in the village. And the villagers said, "Mercy is heavier than gold." And so the people learned, wealth gained by cruelty may glitter, but wealth given by kindness shines forever. The river remembers both evil and good, and when kindness returns, it comes not empty, but overflowing. What would you have done if you were Ajayi, saw the mermaid or set it free? Do you believe kindness truly returns to us, even when forgotten? Do you believe that when you do good in secret, the universe rewards you openly? And if you were Bolu, would you still chase wealth above all else? If this story moved you, like, share, and subscribe for more African folktales that carry timeless wisdom. Because every story hides a lesson, and every lesson saves a soul.